And it is now time for the county diary, and this particular morning we begin with Nakuru, specifically in Naivasha, where Willie Dennis Njeru is. Willie, a very good morning to you. What is the sentiments there from residents concerning the whole state of the nation, and also a county update from Nakuru?
Good morning, Stanley. It's indeed a bright morning here. As you can see, the sun is already up, and it's quite scorching. Nonetheless, it's in the morning, but we're enjoying the sun rays. You remember, it's a good thing for vitamin D, you see. And I have some locals here who are going to be shedding, just giving a highlight on a few issues that are emerging from this area, in it being the county has intended to scale up the land rate, and that is going to impact on each and every other sector that is matters appertaining land, and it's quite a contentious issue that needs quite a discussion here. And I'm joined by a few of the locals here who are going to be giving an insight in regard to this. Mention to us your name, and you could bring us up to speed on these matters. Nieleze tu, unaitwa nani?
Majina yangu ni Kenodia John. Mimi ni member wa Naivasha Gender Based Networking Cluster, working together with the community of Naivasha, and one of the landlord within Naivasha sub-county. And yesterday we had a discussion. There was a public participation from the Nakuru County in matters regarding rates. And we were taken through some of the changes that we will be expecting from our county. It was received well, and I want to say maybe from the perspective of an owner of a land in Naivasha, that it is something that needs to be, taken a little bit with a kind of seriousness. And our members should be given time at least to go through that bill, discuss it, before maybe we come up with a conclusion whether we will accept those kind of rates, and at least something that we not maybe tena ingia kwa mifuko ya Wakenya, na maybe mimi kama landlord pengine niende niongezee tenants wangu wenye wako na shida kwa wakati huu, na pengine ni venye hiyo rates yenye pengine imekuwa kubwa sana upande huu mwingine.
Labda ni kwa asilimia gani ambapo mnaongezewa ushuru huu, na wakati huo mwingine ushuru huo umeuona ukifanya kazi gani?
Kuongea ukweli, tukiongelea mambo kama mambo na sewages rates, ama maybe mambo na planning ya sub county, unaona sometimes hata kama tunalipa hiyo rate hatuoni kabisa manufaa ya hiyo ya pengine hizo pesa zenye tunatoa, kwa sababu wakati mwingine ama wakati huo mwingine unaona ya kwamba hizo pesa ni kama hazijaenda kwa mradi ambao unafaa kabisa. So sometimes kuongea ukweli hatuoni manufaa kabisa ya hiyo.
Na sasa inaongezwa, itasaidia nini?
Tunakusudia kwamba pengine tutaona mabadiliko kidogo, lakini at the moment wacha niseme ya kwamba tunataka kuona uzuri wa hiyo mambo na rates kwa sub county.
Asante, wacha tusikie kutoka kwa mwingine. Sister, kuhusiana na swala hilo, na labda kama una lingine utueleze.
Kwa majina naitwa Susan Wangari aka Mama Boys, na mimi pia ni mwana community ambao ninatetea haki za wana community. Na nikisema hivi ninataka kusema ya kwamba hatuoni importance ya rate kuongezwa for now. Yes, it is there, na imeambiwa kwamba itaongezwa, and already whatever is there is not effective. Ya kwamba kama drainage ama sewerages ziko very poor. So ukiangalia maisha yenye iko saa hii, we are not expecting kuongezewa rates, tuna expect kushukishiwa. Ni kwa sababu maisha ni magumu, na unakuta saa hii hakuna zile nyumba unaweza kusema ati ni cheap ya kwamba mwananchi wa kawaida anaweza afford. So to me I would say hata kama tunataka kuiangalia kwa undani sana, I would say it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time for us kuongezewa rates. Yes. Yeah.
Asante, wacha tumsikie kutoka kwa dada mwingine hapa. Nieleze jina lako na kuhusiana na swala hilo, na ukiwa mkazi wa Kehoto, athari zile mko nazo labda kufuatia tangazo la maji mvua ya vuli.
Kwa majina naitwa Mary Akinyi Karidhi na mimi ninajivunia kuwa mkaaji wa Naivasha, hasa hii part ya Lakeview. Lakini jambo moja ninaweza sema, tusije tukaongezewa mambo na rates, kwa sababu the moment wanaongeza hiyo rates, mwananchi wa kawaida ataumia. Kwa sababu nikiongezewa kama landlord, itabidi na mimi niongezee tenant wangu pesa. Na nikimuongezea, na kwa wakati huu ni wengi sana wanalala wakiwa njaa, biashara ziko chini. Sasa tunaona kama mwananchi wa kawaida tunaathirika sana. Kwa hivyo wanafaa kutuconsider. Na pia mambo na El Nino, Kehoto water table iko juu sana. Na inafaa waweke mikakati kwa wakati huu, kwa sababu kunaponyesha sewerage zetu zote zina rupture pale town, huwezi pita, na pale Kehoto tuko na kina mama, tuko na watoto. Sasa tunaogopea hii ugonjwa ya cholera na waterborne diseases kupata jamii zetu.
Unaposema kuhusu water table iko juu, tunajua kwamba katika eneo la Kehoto unahitaji tu kuchimba futi 10 unafikia either kisima ama huo ndio mwisho wa kuchimba choo, kwa sababu ila unasema kwa kimombo water table iko juu sana, na huenda ikaleta masuala mengine ya kiafya, athari mbaya. Na mnasema kwamba kuongezwa hata kwa rates hakuna manufaa kwa sababu hamjaona hela hizo zikitumika vizuri. Labda kwa sekunde chache tu kabla tujampisha mwenzetu, ni mambo gani ungetaka yawe suluhu la kudumu la swala hili?
Mimi ningetaka tukue na kama saizi zile mitaro wamefanya vizuri, walichimba mitaro, lakini pia hiyo mitaro iko na takataka wakati huu. Hasa wakati huu ambapo kunanyesha, tunaona ya kwamba mvua inatoka Kinangop, inatoka pande za Kijabi nini, kwa sababu Naivasha ni mahali ambapo kumeslant. Kwa hivyo maji yote inaelekeshwa lake. Na pale lake, nikiwa mdogo nilikuwa nasikia kwamba lake inafika hapa railways. Kwa hivyo hiyo maji water table iko juu sana. Kwa hivyo ni vyema tujue hali ya health ya watoto wetu na jamii zetu, kwa sababu life is very important.
Alright, sawa ndugu. Tusikufungie nje. Tueleze jina lako na swala zima tunazungumza ndilo hilo.
Kwa majina naitwa Morris Njero, mimi pia ni mkazi wa Naivasha. Na actually hizo issues wenzangu wamezungumzia, they are real issues, and one of the things that our leaders need to know is that when ukiongeza hizo rates, mwenye nyumba hataumia kwa sababu ataisukuma chini kwa the last consumer. And when we are talking about people like wale watu wako Kehoto and the impending now rains, unakuta sasa huyo mtu hakuna mahali pengine pa kuhamia, because Kehoto pale ndio mahali pa chini kabisa. So amefukuzwa na economy kwa zile nyumba za juu, akafika Kehoto, then sasa maji mfukuze tena, so you are like telling that person you have no place to live. So the government needs to look into hizo rates, at least wangoje watu economy stabilize kidogo, then waongeze. Then on the matters of the rains, Naivasha kukinyesha hata mvua kidogo inakuwa very chaotic, hata huwezi cross barabara. So let them use the tax ile wako nayo tayari. You know, people are encouraged when they see ile wanatoa inatumika vizuri. Then even without pushing people so hard, people will be willing even to give when they see where the money is going. But kama watu bado wanabebwa na maji na wako town, mtu anakuja na kiatu safi, hata itabidi uende ukatafute zushaina ndio ungare. So you become a spender and you're still paying the rates, then it doesn't make sense. So they should look into those rates, alafu wajitayarishe mambo ya mvua inayokuja, watengeneze mitaro, because you have not seen a lot happening in town in terms of preparing and managing the water and sewerage systems. Yes, tumeona wakitengeneza parkings, which is okay, but they need to look to the issue of water. And also Naivasha and Nakuru County is a farming community. We also need them to look into the farmers. Ile fertilizer ambayo president amepeana ifikie wakulima na mbegu za kupanda, so that isikuwe tu ni kufukuzwa na mvua, and after the rains are gone hakuna kitu ya kukumbuka about the rains.
Right.
Yeah.
Well said. And Stanley, before I just get it back to you, I would wish to have some parting shot in regard to an earlier on discussion this morning where we were discussing gender issues, and lucky enough this gentleman happened to be an expert in the same field. Maybe just for a minute I will just want to hear what he has to say. Where we had a discussion earlier on today in the newsroom, in our studios, where there was an issue about gender-based violence, and first it was touching the ban. It is a topic that men do not wish to discuss. What do you have to say about this?
Thank you so much. Once again, I'm Kinuthia John, Naivasha Gender-Based Networking Cluster. And actually, it is one of the discussions that have been in each and every forum that we have been having as Naivasha of a boy child. Sometimes wanachapwa, mambo ingine anapitia changamoto mingi za maisha. You know, okay, a boy child ni mtu mwenye anaonekana ya kwamba yeye ndiye huanga anapeana. So most of the time wakati pengine anaonekana ni kama amefinyika kidogo juu ya mambo ya economy yenye tuko nayo kwa wakati huu. Sometimes pengine kuna changamoto za maisha, kuna changamoto za mawazo. Unapata ya kwamba that man amefinyiliwa sana pale chini. Yeye ndiye mwenye kutoa, yeye ndiye mwenye kusaidia, yeye ndiye pengine ndiye anaonekana ndiye the provider of the family. So most of the time wakati huu kuna changamoto za economy, asipoweza kutoa ama asipoweza kuchangia, pengine anaonekana kwamba he is not man enough.
Does this call for a fight, physical assault actually?
No, actually it should not call for a physical assault. Inastahili ya kwamba wakae chini, waongee, wasikizane. Sometimes mambo ingine hata si mambo na kupigana tu vita. Mambo ingine tu ni kukaa chini na kucommunicate. Communication ndio pengine imekuwa shida, and then kuelewana.
Why are the cases not being reported?
Most of the time men wanaonekana ya kwamba ni kama hawataki sana kuongea hii maneno. Unasema ya kwamba sometimes machozi yao badala itoke nje inarudigi na huko ndani. So most of the time unapata that man, hiyo machozi imeingia na huko ndani, and then wakati itafika ya kuripuka, itaripuka na afanye maybe mambo ingine mbaya. Some issues that zenye tunaona kama zile za homicides, wanauana, anachukua familia, anaifanya mambo mabaya because maybe amekuwa na mambo mingi yenye amehold kwa roho yake, na maybe hajaweza kuevent out. So most of the time unapata ya kwamba anaenda kuvent out pengine kwa familia, ama maybe anaenda anafanya kitu kingine ambao ni mbaya.
Okay, all right. Maybe yes. As we wind up, maybe mention 2 or 3 issues that have been a main attributor towards this gender-based violence on gentlemen, on men, that is.
Yeah.
Masuala mawili matatu tu kwa ufupi tunarudi.
Sawa, kuna mambo na economy, changamoto za economy, pia mambo na kuelewana, na pia kuna mambo kidogo tu wanaume pengine huanga wanapitia, ni mambo ile yenye inahusiana na mambo na kujifanya wewe ni mwanaume kabisa. Na hakuna mtu mwingine masculine na nini wewe unaweza. So masuala kama hayo pia inachangia, na pia mambo na drug and substance abuse. Wengi wetu wanaendaka kuescape ama kuondoka kwa hiyo mambo ambayo wanapitia, wanaenda pengine kukunywa dawa, kukunywa pombe, ati ya kwamba maybe wajaribu at least kujipatia nguvu, but at the end of the day unapata kwamba hakuna kitu ambao pengine wamejisaidia nayo. Yes.
Nashukuru sana kwa muda wako Stanley. As you heard it there from locals here in Naivasha, fundamentally issues to do with the environment and the anticipated above board rainfalls, and geographically knowing that Naivasha is actually, as you can see, it is just down and down to the lake Naivasha, and on the other end is just up and high up to Nyandarua ranges, that is, and all these water floods and gets to Lake Naivasha, and maybe in the rest that has been contributed there before, there is need to call for the county government to ensure that they look into the drainage pattern around here to ensure that all is going to be well. And sentiments echoed there, you got it. We have to live up to the promises of ensuring that we are the fathers of the house, and all in the family are certain that we are there to take care of them, to avert some of these critical issues that we have had there being spoken by part of the experts here. That is it for me here, Stanley Nyaringita in Naivasha. I take it back to you over in studios.
Rightfully put, right here in Naivasha, or boots on ground in Naivasha. Willie Dennis Njero, thank you for that. And that also reminds me of the question of the day that we're asking you, getting your sentiments. What do you think the society can do to better address and support male victims of gender-based violence? At TV47 News on X, at TV47KE on Facebook. I'll be sampling some of your feedback later on. But meanwhile, residents of Geticha shocked after a villager came into contact with the body of an elderly person who was killed under suspicious circumstances in Botori, Nyanchwa. According to the Deputy Chief Ekiaza Mogere, he received this information from the villagers, and it appears that the villager was brutally stabbed multiple times before the body was disposed of in Geticha area.
Jina langu ni Eliaza Mogere Machuki, Area Assistant Chief. Leo asubuhi nimepigiwa simu na one of my clan elders, mzee wa kijiji ambaye anaitwa Paul Atis, akiniarifu kuwa amepigiwa simu pia kuwa kuna mmoja ambaye amekufa, kuna mtu ambaye amekufa katika kijiji hiki cha Geticha. Nilipofika hapa, niliposadiki kuwa amekufa, nilipigia OCS Nyanchwa simu ili waje hapa waone yale ambayo wanafanya, wapime, wachunguze na pia wachukue mwili katika mochari. Ni mtu tunamfahamu, kwao ni karibu hapa. Hii katika hii njia inapita ya lami kutoka chini.
And meanwhile, the government has initiated a freeze-on on non-essential travel as part of an effort to reduce expenses and prioritize critical operations and activities. In a communication addressed to government officials, Chief of Staff and Head of the Public Service, that is Felix Koskei, has outlined specific guidelines for travel, proposing the reduction of delegation accompanying public servants traveling on the taxpayers' account.
Citing Article 201D of the Constitution, the letter says the Constitution places a significant emphasis on the prudent and responsible utilization of public funds.
And make Kenya great. We commit everything.
The government now says there is a pressing need to streamline and prioritize expenditures, concentrating its efforts on the critical operations and activities that are indispensable for delivering essential services to Kenyans. In cases where the county executive committee represents a governor, the committee member should travel alone. The directive follows the government's review of foreign travel guidelines for cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, chairpersons, and chief executives of state corporations back in July. At the time, Felix Koskei specified that officials authorized for travel will be limited to participating in policy-related meetings, events, or activities lasting no longer than 7 working days, excluding the travel days themselves. Eric Mnene, TV47.
Right, thank you, Eric, for that. And just actually reminds me of that diary this particular morning, the 3rd of October. That particular communique begins and as of today. Other matters in today's bit of today's diary, the whole universal constituency. The members of the National Assembly, as well as key stakeholders, are set to meet just to discuss and basically champion for a partnership of the same. Other bits to expect today, the Kenya Copyright Board will be hosting the 3rd Exchange Forum on copyright and intellectual property. So the theme for this particular forum is matters demystifying copyright and IP laws and also policies. In the Bomas talks this particular morning, you expect so various political parties from Kenya Kwanza Coalition as well as the Azimio Coalition party to be meeting. They were sent to meet yesterday. That didn't happen. Let me just confirm other bits to expect today. Still on Bomas of Kenya, EACC chairperson, that is Dr. David Oginda, and CEO Twalib Mbarak is set to appear before that particular National Dialogue Committee, the Bomas of Kenya, at around 11 a.m. So stick around for that also. And also in matters diary, right, we'll be updating you as it goes on. But then other news in our newsrooms this particular morning. At least 65 students from Eregi Girls High School in Kakamega have been hospitalized with unknown illness. They are presented with weak limbs, among other symptoms. That is one of stories that we're following up on just to update you as you get more updates from different counties, including Taita Taveta, Kisii, and also Laikipia. If we do have We'll cross over to other stories this particular morning. And more than 50 intern doctors yesterday, picketed inside Ministry of Health headquarters to demand for their July salaries. The interns, led by KMPDU Secretary General Dr. Davji Atela, criticized the government for prioritizing UHC rollout instead of streamlining the welfare of doctors who are key players in the health system. Our health reporter Zainab Mohammed with more.
This was the situation at the Ministry of Health's headquarters. More than 50 intern doctors camped here for more than 12 hours to demand for their July salaries. The interns, who despite camping here for hours failed to get an audience with the ministry's leadership, criticized the government for prioritizing the UHC rollout instead of streamlining the welfare of doctors who are key players in the health system.
Here from 10 to now evening, around 5 p.m. We'll be here again tomorrow for another sitting the whole day. And again, we'll be here on Wednesday. We expect to be here for sit-ins until the ministry release this money to all the doctors, because they have worked. They have not been employed after finishing their work. And the little that they've worked over that period is again withheld. The reason is not known to anybody.
According to them, the ministry had promised to disperse their salaries before the end of last month. However, they say no money has reached their pockets till now.
The money that is owed to the 386 interns is amounting to 50 million. We followed up with the ministry in the month of August and they promised to pay. We then again followed up and wrote a letter to the ministry on 1st of September and they promised to pay. This is money that was not paid when they gave a reason to be a system error. It is of concern that 3 months after there was that purported system error, these doctors have not received the money.
Last month, doctors alongside other health workers vowed to go on strike due to similar issues. All eyes now being fixated on the UHC rollout that will take place on the 20th of this month. The big question remaining, will the rollout be successful amidst all these issues? Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Take a short break from now. On the other side of the horse, this particular short break will be crossing all the way to Kisii County to get an update from there. Stick around for that. Right, welcome back. And as we continue this particular county diary, now crossing all the way to Kisii, Alfaya Kombo is. Alfaya Kombo, if you can get me, good morning this particular day. What is the latest in Kisii and also in Nyamira?
Thank you very much, Stanley Nyarengita. I'm getting you very well from this side of Kisii County Assembly, where I'll be giving you a brief of Kisii County, where today there is Excellency the Governor Simbarati is expected to be addressing the state of the nation, the state of Kisii County, and whereby I'll be also giving you an update of Nyamira County, whereby yesterday we saw that the UPA Secretary General, that is Bagaka, who is also the Deputy Speaker of Kisii County, addressing the members of UPA from Nyamira County on to not signing the impeachment motion of Governor Amos Kimomi Nyaribo. I'll be welcoming Mheshimiwa Bagaka to be explaining to us why you are the Secretary General and what is happening to UPA in Nyamira over the impeachment motion of who is the party and one of your members of UPA, who is Amos Kimomi Nyaribo.
Yes. My name is Jacob Baronko Bagaka. I am the Secretary General for United Progressive Alliance Party, which sponsored His Excellency Nyaribo, who is the governor for Nyamira. Currently there is an impeachment motion ambayo imeletwa kule bungeni na mheshimiwa from SS Ward ambayo which is accusing the governor for a lot of issues, but we have said impeachment cannot be the solution to leadership issues, and we are asking that alternative dispute resolution mechanisms should be used or embraced instead of impeachments. Impeachments have never been successful anywhere, and as a party, we have asked our members, who are the majority actually in Nyamira County Assembly, to distance themselves from that impeachment, and that we are expecting that when it comes to voting, they will not vote for the impeachment of His Excellency Amos Nyaribo.
It's believed that UPA is the majority in Nyamira County Assembly. And the other day we saw that some members of UPA came out to the press asking His Excellency the Deputy Gesami to speak about his stand on this impeachment motion, because he has not been seen anywhere in public speaking or defending the governor, being that they are two as one. What is your feel on that?
I want to say that the governor and the deputy governor are elected as one, and therefore it's expected that Gesami, who is the deputy governor, should support His Excellency the governor to be able to deliver on the mandate that was given by the people in Nyamira. Watu wa Nyamira walichagua Governor Nyaribo na wakachagua deputy wake. We expect that for them to be able to deliver to the people, lazima wafanye kazi pamoja, na wala waheshimiwa wenzangu ambao wako pale County Assembly of Nyamira, tunawaomba uangalie other methods of resolving issues, wakae chini na mheshimiwa Nyaribo waanze kutatua yale matatizo ambayo yako pale. It's not only Nyamira which has issues. Issues are there across Kenya. But when you sit down and deliberate on those issues, you are able to get solutions. So tunawaomba waheshimiwa wa Nyamira, especially those who come from UPA, that they should not vote against the removal of the governor in Nyamira, but they have to embrace the alternative dispute resolution mechanisms ambazo ziko pale. Na wale ambao watapiga kura for the impeachment of the governor and they belong to UPA will take stand actions, because the constitution of UPA, we have made a stand as a party and we have communicated to them through writing that they will not be able to participate in the removal of the existing governor who comes from the party.
Today you are saying that here in Kisii County, that is the update where the governor is expected to give an update on what he has been doing and what he's going to do for the residents of Nyamira. You being as a deputy speaker, what can you give the residents?
We have had 1 year since we were elected into office, including the governor, and today is coming here to address the assembly and also the entire Kisii County and show them what we have been able to achieve and the plan we have for the next 4 years. We hope it will be successful, and we want to wish the governor and the entire Kisii County the best in this address.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Bagaka. That has been the Deputy Speaker, Kisii County, and also the Secretary General of the party of UPA, whereby today in Nyamira County, His Excellency the Governor Amos Kimomi Nyaribo is being grilled at the parliaments of Nyamira County to answer on the 12 allegations that are against him. And the same day today, here at Kisii County, the governor who has just arrived, who that is Simbarati, also expected to address the nation or to address Kisii County residents over the sentiments and the improvements of what you're going to do and what you're going to do to the residents. I don't have much to say, but pass the mantle back to you in studio, Stanley Nyarengita.
All right, thank you for that. Alfayo Kombo in Kisii also giving us some updates in also in Nyamira. And I do have with me here Chepto Boyd.
Yes.
And but then now actually before I engage particularly before I engage her, our question of the day this particular morning is, what do you think society can do to better address and support male victims of gender-based violence? Hashtag is Morning Cafe, that is on X. Just to take a look at what some of you are saying. And Andy's Green says, at Wekunda, says, partnering with men as allies to establish positive gender attitudes is key to changing a culture that has historically reinforced GBV. Let me also take a look at some bits here. Okay, it's a whole other thing. On Facebook, what should be done? Yeah, have it. So Moses Kip Kemboi says, quite interesting comments here actually. Paramilitary training should be mandatory for men. He talks about karate, taekwondo, punching, self-defense, attack, counter-attack, while anti-terrorism techniques should miss out too. Ombega Orina Bernard gives quite a long comment. Absolutely. Many souls of men in the society have been disgraced. The identity and dignity has been undermined. This has been the cause of distress, frustrations, and suicide in the society. Men are to be given protection when it comes to GBV. Many have been traumatized and divorced. Urina Bernard wa Naivasha. Francis Kim says men should not go for the last one. Will fight force men unless we be our own. Okay. And Ombega Orina Bernard says, my quiz, up to when we shall talk on this? What's hindering the mechanisms of reducing these issues? Okay, quite finally here, Ombega Orina also says, first, the GBV organization has to look for the cause root of all this. They cannot solve that epidemic if there's possible ways of ending this. The reality is that the government are unable to handle this at all because of a lot of corruption across the body organ, and that is in charge of all handling these cases. Goes on to say, if you have no money, no assistance, no place to run for any social support, let the government create sub-organs in the society will help to gather these cases. A lot of cases are outside there which have not brought out men. Out by men, I think men being mistreated by being beaten by their wives, those cases are there across the country. Let's not take it for granted and as jokes. When a woman has been beaten, everyone will know in the village, and when such cases has been taken to GBV office, it will be taken seriously. Men should be given equal opportunities and treatment. Quite a long comment there by Ombega Orina Bernard. Ombega, thank you for that. You can keep talking to us on our social media platforms. This conversation definitely goes on. But that now, Chepto Boyd, good morning.
Good morning, Stanley Nyaringita.
Mimi niko salama. What should we be expecting today?
Expecting on Alfayo Kombo's note, we are expecting Amos Nyaribo is expected, the governor for Nyamira expected to know his fate today. Remember last week a motion was moved to have him impeached, and 28 out of 34 MCAs voted for it. And today the MCAs are going back to the ballot to vote for him. However, we don't know if the MCAs, if he's going to survive this, because we don't know if the Senate is going to uphold his gubernatorial seat. Anyway, we've been seeing in Nyamira County, they've been, the MCAs have been citing lack of proper governance, corruption. And remember also there've been leadership wrangles in Nyamira County. We've also had doctors strike in Nyamira. Last week they announced a 14-day strike. Yeah, so there've been a bit of back and forth between the leaders in the Nyamira County leadership system and the people of the county. That is one that we are following up on. Another thing is the National Dialogue Committee. Of course, we're expecting to see the Kenya Kwanza team, political parties under the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, expected to present their views at the Bomas of Kenya. In front of the Kimani Ichung'wah and Kalonzo Musyoka. Kimani Ichung'wah being the majority leader of the National Assembly and is chairing the Kenya Kwanza team, and Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper leader, chairing the Azimio team. We're expecting to see EACC chairperson Bishop David Oginde and CEO Twalib Mbarak at 11 a.m. making their submissions. Remember, today is the last day of the submissions. So we are expecting, we are also expecting the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, KCCB, Electoral Law Governance Institute of Africa, LEGIA, and the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights, among others, present their views at the Bomas of Kenya. Yes.
All right. Any other updates that we should be looking forward to?
Yes, we are expecting over the weekend the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua announced that he will be conducting a second meeting with top government officials to discuss on the resources and the money that has been set aside to curb the effects of the El Nino rains.
Right.
Remember, yesterday the weatherman said the El Nino could not be as strong as it had been anticipated and it had been predicted earlier on. We could just be expecting above average rains because the weatherman says those regions that had not had rainfall initially should be expecting rain in the next 2 weeks, and those that already had rains should be expecting the rains to get more intense. Yeah, we're expecting, we are following up on that very much. We are expecting to see the meeting and see the outcome of the meeting where the deputy will be chairing the top government officials. Apart from that, we have a story that is now hitting headlines this morning where more than 60 students from Eregi Girls High School in Kakamega having been hospitalized in various hospitals in Kakamega County.
Okay.
You're having 30 of them in Kakamega Level 5, 20 in Shibwe, and 10 in Iguhu hospitals.
Right.
Yeah, they say the students had trouble walking, and upon further investigations and lab tests, they say that it was revealed that the students had elevated electrolytes and an indication that their bodies were lacking fluids. We are expecting a top health officials to be arriving at the school anytime from now. We're also expecting medical personnel from KEMRI, that is Kenya Medical Research Institute, to be arriving at the school to conduct further investigation. Kakamega, I know it brings memories of Mukumu Girls High School, right? Yeah, so it's a story that we are following up closely on. Apart from that, Ror Kimorer Dam case is expected to continue today after it was adjourned yesterday.
Okay.
The prosecution failed to lead its witnesses in testifying yesterday on the case, where former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich is charged with others over the 63 billion dams scandal. Yesterday, of course, as I've said initially, that the prosecution failed to make its witnesses testify. They say they need 14 days because, you see, they say this will enable the new DPP, that is Renson Ingonga Mulele, to settle in office and once again give direction on the case.
Right.
However, the magistrate noted that, yes, the DPP is supposed to give direction on the case, but however, she wanted the witnesses to testify, but the prosecution said they had no questions for the witnesses. So the case is supposed to continue today, with the prosecution now returning back with questions to ask the witnesses. Those are among the stories that we are following up in the newsrooms today, Stanley.
All right. Thank you for that county diary and basically news diary, what to expect today, Chapter Boyd. And from the county diary, let's focus on some international news. And 2018 Nobel Peace Prize winner Denis Mukwege has joined the list of presidential contenders in DR Congo and of the presidential election December 2023. While addressing his supporters Monday, Mukwege noted that his motivation is to save and develop DRC. The 68-year-old father has said that he'll be giving details of his program on a later date. So according to the electoral body, that is CENI, the presidential and parliamentary elections will be held on the 20th of December this year. And meanwhile, firefighters in eastern Australia are continuing to contain several blazes, with residents in nearby coastal towns of Bamagui, Kutaji and Barangay Bay, about 5.5 hours drive south of Sydney, told to shelter in place so as to avoid these particular dangerous blazes. So according to the Chief Officer of the state's Country Fire Authority, Jason Heffernan, about 650 firefighters are battling fires across 17,000 hectares. Australia has begun early voting in a landmark referendum on enacting an Indigenous voice to Parliament. If approved, the reform will recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the country's constitution and establish a parliament and a permanent body for them to advise the government. And meanwhile, Guatemala's president-elect Bernardo Arevalo meets with the judges of the Supreme Electoral Body and Tribunal, the country's top elections court, to once again denounce an alleged coup attempt by top prosecutors whom Arevalo and his supporters accuse of trying to block him from taking office next January. This even as angry protesters are blocking roads throughout the country to demand the resignation of prosecutors, including Rafael Curuchure, who recently sent security forces to seize boxes of voting records from this year's presidential election, won by surprise by 44-year-old Arevalo. The international community has also raised the alarm of our efforts to challenge the election outcome.
Porque esas cajas del Tribunal Supremo Electoral, esas cajas de bien.
Él es de apellido Cucul, Rafael Curruchichi Cucul, él es de Chimaltenango. La esperanza. Aquí
Ellos los que empiezan a tener esas cajas, porque esas cajas del Tribunal Supremo Electoral, esas cajas de bien.
Él es de apellido Cucul, Rafael Curruchichi Cucul, él es de Chimaltenango. La esperanza. Aquí
ellos los que empiezan a tener esas cajas, porque esas cajas del Tribunal Supremo Electoral, esas cajas de bien.
Él es de apellido Cucul, Rafael Curruchichi Cucul, él es de Chimaltenango. La esperanza. Aquí
ellos los que empiezan a tener esas cajas, porque esas cajas del Tribunal Supremo Electoral, esas cajas de bien.
Él es de apellido Cucul, Rafael Curruchichi Cucul, él es de Chimaltenango. La esperanza.
Right, and that does it for the whole county diary and also the international diary. And that's just a cue to wrap it up. It has been an amazing couple of hours, by the way.
Oh yes, very interesting conversations today on gender-based violence, especially in relation to the men. I think it's a conversation that will definitely continue. And of course, on green manufacturing, and I'm looking at an article on the Daily Nation on green collar jobs market boom in race for sustainability, and they say that skills in green jobs are now the highest in demand.
Oh yes. Yes.
So do you have any green skills?
In Kenya or in Kenya or across
in Kenya, you're talking about Kenya.
Oh.
In different sectors.